Yu-Gi-Oh! An incredibly complex card game with tens of thousands of cards. However, what if each set was separated from the rest of the massive card pool and your choices when building a deck were extremely limited? In this series, in order to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! From the ground up, I will be embarking on an adventure through the history of the card game with Jeexx. In each episode, we will have access to all the cards in a select product, and using only the cards in that product, both of us will build a deck before playing a best of 3 match to determine the winner of the episode. We will move in a chronological order in the series, and with each new episode, we will forget the cards of the past in order to experience something brand new. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through Yu-Gi-Oh! And its evolution with us. Welcome to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. The Dark Illusion was released in August of 2016 and introduced 5 new archetypes in the TCG, those being Metalphos, Triamid, Paleozoic, Spiral, and Subterror. It also included support cards for over 20 existing archetypes and had some highlights as well. Those included, but not limited to, Shurano Solitaire to give any zombie deck very generic access to Unizombie straight from the deck, and Fairy Tale Snow, a infinitely recursible Book of Moon as long as you had the resources to summon it. Nothing else, welcome back, and we're back with Dark Illusion this time, and I don't know what this is, I'll be honest. We'll get through it, but yeah, for me personally, like, there wasn't anything like really sticking out of Dark Illusion, so what we ended up with is this 56 card pile. So without further ado, let's go through the cards and see what we're working with. So starting us off, we are playing Blackwing, and we have a clean 28-28. And let's just say that after game 1, for games 2 and 3, like, there will be a lot of siding for us to do, because of, like, we're just trying to meet the quota here. But let's start with Ghost of a Shadow. Can be normal summon to set, and must be spell summoned from your hand while you control no monsters, level 5 tuner. With this card is spell summoned from the hand, you can spell summon 2 Vague Shadow tokens, but they cannot be attributed or be used as synchro material. Instead, how you synchro with Gofu is you can banish this card and 1 or more face non-tuners you control, then target a Blackwing synchro monster in your graveyard whose levels equal to the total levels of the banished monsters had on the field. Spell summon it, and if you do, it is permanently treated as a tuner while on the field, obviously. But also, Gofu is still a Blackwing name where you can special summon him, then you can special summon stuff like Chris or Bora or anything like that. Obviously, it gets a little awkward because of the levels, but still it's a thing you can do. More likely than not, you'll be using the second copy of it though. And it's also nice because you can use the tokens for other stuff, but for us, it's mostly here to give us a Blackwing name that is usable with our stuff. And then we have Tornado to reverse wind. And when normal summoned while your opponent controls spell summoned monster, you can target a Blackwing tuner in your graveyard to special it out, but negates its effects. Then we have Magician of Dark Illusion, which is simple here to give us access to Dark. And it is a level 7 body that we can summon, since during your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell trap or an effect, except during the damage step, you can spell summon this card from your hand. And then the other stuff is about Dark Magician. We don't care about that stuff. It's still something that we will side out for games 2 and 3. Then we have Cosmic Cyclone at 3 copies. Then we have 3 copies of MST. There's a bunch of trap holes. You have access to trap tricks. There's the Paleozoics. Like, there's so much back row access in the set that I figured out. Obviously, these are here just to give us to give us actually access to all the rest of our stuff to meet the quota. But Cosmic Cyclone is really extremely nice because it banishes stuff, so it helps deal with stuff like Paleozoics. Then we have 3 Pot of Desires, one of the better pot cards. Banish 10 cards from the top of your deck face down and draw 2. You can only activate 1 per turn. Most of our stuff we have 3 of. We do obviously have a couple like other ones, like for example Blizzard at 2 copies, 1 Orochi, 1 Steam the Cloak. But these aren't like super important, like Harmadan, Zephyros. Like, I would like to play these in more quantities, but I really didn't want to go full 60. So this is what we're dealing with. So still like pot, 56 cards, like the important stuff like Chris, Bora, Black Whirlwind, Pot of Greed, Gale. We have like all of this stuff we have at 3. So the likelihood of us banishing like more than 1 is very unlikely. So Pot of Desire is really nice for that. Also obviously gives us access to Pot of Greed, which is great. Floodgate Trap Hole, one of the better trap holes. When your opponent summons a monster in any way, you can change that monster face down defense position, and monster changed to face down defense position by this effect cannot change their battle positions at all. And also it just gives us stuff to stuff in our side deck to side into like all the good other hole cards. Then we have a single, the Forceful Checkpoint, which actually is okay on its own. It's a battle trap. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you look at your opponent's hand, and if there's a monster card, you negate the attack and discard one monster from their hand, and you get to pick what to discard, which is pretty neat. More important than that, though, gives us a Forceful Sentry, obviously one of the most degenerate cards of all time. So going first, opening something like this gives us perfect information about Jeexx's hand. Maybe he's on stuff like Ghost Ogre, and we can just shuffle that back to not worry about hand traps, and then we'll just know what he has for the follow-up plays. Maybe stuff that he sets. So it's so insanely powerful. Then we have the Paleozoics. We have 3 Olenoids, which targets a spell trap on the field and destroys it. 3 Canadia, which Book of Moon something. 3 Pacaya, which discards a Paleozoic card and draws 2. And 3 Hallucigenia, and halves a monster's stat line until the end of their turn. And all of the Paleozoics have the same effect as well, where once per chain, when a trap card is activated while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card as a normal monster, which say they're all Aqua, whatever, level 2s with 1200 attack and 0 defense, and are no longer treated as traps. And then if summoned this way, if they are unaffected by monster effects and get banished when they leave the field. And the thing about what we can do with this, I'm kind of talking about like the side and the extra as we go, because I feel like it makes more sense, is Paleozoic Anomalo Karis, which take 3 or more level 2 monsters, 2400 attack, and is unaffected by other monsters' effects. And once per turn, if a trap is sent from your spell trap zone to the graveyard by any means, except during the damage step, you can exile the top card of your deck. If it's a trap, add it to your hand, otherwise send it to graveyard. Not a mandatory effect though, it is something that you can activate. And once per turn during either player's turn, if this card has a trap card as an exist material, you can detach 1 exist material from this card to target a card on the field and pop it. So it basically just gives you 2 different pops, because otherwise like no longer... Actually, no, it's if this, yeah, never mind. It works actually all 3 times. I misunderstood the card. But basically, it just gives you 3 pops, a 2400 beefsteak, unaffected by monster effects. It's very good. So this is what we will use our Paleozoics for. But this Paleozoic engine is something that we will most likely side out of in favor of the more generic trap holes. Then for the stuff that we've already seen, mostly like, you know what most of these cards do. I'm not sure if we've seen Steam Cloak, but if the Space Call leaves the field by any means, you spell summon a Steam token, and that is a level 1. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can tribute any monster, spell summon this card from your graveyard. You can only use this effect once per duel, and then if this card summoned this way is used as synchro material, all other synchro materials must be Blackwings. It's also nice because you can use this in conjunction with Gofu, one of the Gofu tokens. You don't need to use the token you get off Steam the Cloak. So if you use this for, if you somehow have Gofu on the board, and then let's say you summon Gofu, and then you go Steam the Cloak, and then you can use Steam the Cloak and something that you spell summon to go into something, this goes in the grave. You can then use one of the Gofu tokens to get rid of instead of Steam's own token to bring it back, and then you can use it for extended synchro plays. It's pretty neat, but also once per duel, so I'd rather not go too heavy on it. That's why we are running 1. Roasted Squall, if you control a Blackwing monster other than a Roasted Squall, you can spell summon this from your hand, and you can only spell summon 1 per turn, and if this card is in the graveyard as a synchro material, you can change the paddle position of 1 monster on the field. It's a level 1 tuner, so it's mostly here to modulate levels. That's why we're only running 1. As for Blizzard, we have 2 copies of it. When normal summoned, you can target a level 4 or lower Blackwing monster in your graveyard, spawn them in defense. We don't want to start with this, because unless we have a way to get something in the grave, obviously it doesn't do anything, so that's why we have 2. Then the best tuner, we have Gale. It can be spell summoned if you control a Blackwing monster other than Gale, and you can have a monster's attack and defense permanently once per turn, and it's a level 3. It's the best tuner that we have. Then we have all the stuff that we can special summon out. We have Harmadan the Dust, Bora the Spear, and Crystal Crack at Dawn. All of these can be special summoned if you control a Blackwing monster other than their name. And then they have Harmadan the Dust can change its level to be the increase the level of Harmadan by the level of another Blackwing. Crystal Crack at Dawn can be destroyed by spell traps once per turn, and aboard the spear inflicts piercing. But the important part is just being able to special summon these. Cut it Zane's the first elite. In your graveyard, you can return one face-up card you control to the hand to special summon this card, and if you do, take 400 damage once per duel effect. Can reuse something like, I guess not reuse because it's normal summoned, but you can bounce something like Black Whirlwind back to your hand to protect it, which is pretty neat. Or you can bounce a Blackwing that you can special summon anyways. So it's also neat because something like Gale is not a hard once per turn. So you can special Gale, have something, you can use Zephyr to bring it back, put Gale back to your hand, special Gale again, and once again have something. So it also gives you more damage output. And then we have the Blue Flame. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends to the graveyard, you can special summon a Blackwing monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck, but its effects are negated. It's still fine. It's still a big Blackwing that when normal summoned gives you, thanks to Black Whirlwind, gives you access to Bora and Gale being the most important ones. But also like in this set, since there are Paleozoics in here, and I'm expecting Jeexx to play at least some of them, something like Shuriken Walk Over them actually get Blackwings out of it that way. Then we have a single copy of that, a second one at the side as well, since we are playing Darks, and we have a decent amount of stuff to modulate the things in our graveyard. So that should be online a decent bit. And we get that through Magician of Dark Illusion. Through Blackwing Whirlwind, obviously, we already talked about Forceful Sentry, and a Pot of Greed is here, thanks to Pot of Desires. Shouldn't be too surprising there. In the side deck, the stuff that we've already talked about, second copy of that, we have a single Dark Hole. If Jeexx is on something that puts a lot of stuff on board, and we need to get through those with an effect. 3 Bottomless Trap Hole. It just still a generically really good one. 2 Chaos Trap Hole if Jeexx is playing stuff that plays lights or darks. 2 Deep Trap Hole if he's playing stuff that summons high level monsters. 3 Void Trap Hole because most of the stuff summoned that we would want to negate are probably like big boss monsters that have effects, so this stops those. And then to side instead of the 3 Paleozoics after we side out of the Paleo engine, most likely for games 2 and 3. We have a single copy of Armor Master, just battle immune, a Utopia the Lightning, and Utopia, which we already have 1 copy each in the extra already, so just extra copies. Utopia is there to summon the Lightning. We've seen what the Lightning does. It just becomes a 5000 beater, and your opponent can't activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step if the Lightning battles. Also the Blackwings on top of Armor Master, we have a single copy of Onimar the Divine Thunder, a level 12, a generic, but if it's synchro summon using a Blackwing monster, it is treated as tuner while face on the field, cannot be destroyed by any card effects, and you can target a Blackwing monster in your graveyard. This card's level becomes the same as that monster's. Most relevantly though, like you can only, if this card was synchro summon using only synchro monsters and attacks, it becomes a 6k beater. It's just a way for us to win the game on the spot, basically. Then we have Obsidian Hawk Joe at 1 copy. Takes a Blackwing tuner and 1 plus non-tuner Blackwing monsters. You can target a level 5 or higher Wing-based monster in your graveyard, spell summon it. When your opponent activates this card effect that targets only this card, or when your opponent targets this card for an attack, you can instead make another Blackwing monster the appropriate target. So you can protect it, and it just keeps, it revives your stuff once per turn. And then Raigiri the Rain Sour, also a level 7, completely generic. If it's synchro summon using a Blackwing monster as a material, it is treated as tuner monster while face up on the field. And once per turn, you can target cards your opponent controls up to a number of other Blackwing monsters you control and pop them. Chidori the Rain Sprinkling, same thing here. Once again, level 7. Also treated as tuner if summoned using a Blackwing. And gets 300 for each Blackwing in your graveyard, and then when it's destroyed by and sent to the graveyard, you can target a Winged Beast type synchro monster in your graveyard, except another Chidori, and summon it. And then 2 Nothing the Starlight gives you an extra normal summon of a Blackwing monster turn, and then if it's special summoned, you burn your opponent for 800 and make one of your opponent's monsters become smaller by 800 attack and defense. 2 Sohaya the Rainstorm, completely generic, once again, treated as tuner if summoned using a Blackwing. And then Each of these effects is once per turn. When it's synchro summoned, you can target an Assault Blackwing monster in your graveyard to spell summon it. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, it was sent this turn, you can banish one other Assault Blackwing Sohaya the Range Storm from your graveyard to spell summon this card out. We have 2 copies, so we can banish the other one to get the other one back. And then we have Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend and Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend here as well. Scarlight just blows up your opponent's spell summoned monsters and burns your opponent for 500 for each. And then Tyrant takes 2 tuners and 1+ non-tuner monsters. We are on Blackwing and it's a level 10, so it's relatively easy for us to summon. Something like Blizzard, revive a level 4, and then just special Crease or Bora immediately. Actually, sorry, 2 tuners. Yeah, I misspoke. More often, it's 2 Gales and 1 of our level 4s. Sorry. But also, this can be made with something like, I guess Harmadan would be a little bit awkward with them, but like something like Oshi and Harmadan and Yell can make it. Sorry, wait, actually it can't. No, it needs to be Blizzard. You definitely did check that we can make this pretty easily. And please trust me. But yeah, Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend must be synchro summoned during your main phase fun. You can destroy all other cards on the field, and for the rest of the turn, only Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend can attack. And then during the battle phase, when a spell trap card is activated, you can negate the activation, destroy that card, and give this card 500 attack permanently. Obviously, nobody would do this to give it free stuff, but we can also activate this ourselves. If we maybe fire off something like an MST on our own other set card, we can negate that and make it a 4k beat stick. But it's a gimmick. Mostly it's just a really big dumb generic beater that can blow up the board. So pretty good. That took 15 minutes. Sorry, I feel like that was a lot of yapping. Thank you for watching the deck breakdown though. And I will see you in the dueling zone. No, wait. How we're doing this? It's Jeexx. I don't remember. We just changed. We done one format with the new deck breakdown and set breakdown format, so I still am not sure on the order, I'll be honest. So wherever I am, hopefully you enjoyed the deck breakdowns and or enjoy Jeexx's deck breakdown after this. But regardless, I will see y'all in the dueling zones later, not next necessarily. This is a catastrophe. We'll get used to it though. See you then.
Okay, so we're doing the Dark Illusion. Dark Illusion is a fairly good set overall. It brings out a lot of new archetypes that I personally like. It brings support for stuff like Trains finally. Like I think Trains had some stuff in a previous set that we played, Darkside Dimensions or something, but they didn't have like the good ones yet, right? Like they didn't have Heavy Freight Train, Derricane, Galaxy Night Express, Snowplow, Hassle Wrestle, all this kind of stuff. Instead, they just kind of got some jank shit that they could barely play. Anywho, I have in my deck Black Dragon Ninja as a card that has black in its name and no other reason. We have Go for the Vague Shadow, one of the banned cards in this deck. As you can probably see, there's a number of those. Go for the Vague Shadow has the effect of it cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand while it controls no monsters. When this card is special summoned from the hand, you can special summon 2 Vague Shadow tokens, but they cannot be tributed or used as synchro material. And you can banish this card and 1 or more face-up non-tuner cards you control, then target 1 Blackwing Synchro monster in your graveyard whose level equals the total levels of the banished monsters had on field, and special summon it. And if you do, it is treated as a tuner. This card is one of the best tuner cards ever printed. It gives you free bodies on board that cannot be used as tuners, cannot be used for synchro summoning. But it's a level 5 tuner, which can be used for a lot of things on its own. There's a lot of cards that really care about high-level monsters, such as level 5 and more. And on top of that, you can use the tokens for things like Metal Foes. I'm just going to talk about Metal Foes right now. Metal Foes have the effect of, they're all like Pendulum monsters, they can go new scale, and have the effect of, once per turn, you can target 1 other face-up card you control and destroy it. And if you do, set a Metal Foe spell trap directly from your deck. That is the bread and butter of this whole deck. You essentially set scales, you pop scales, you send cards to the extra deck, and now you can end up summoning those cards back out to make synchro plays, XYZ plays, or really any kind of play. This deck is very versatile, and it's a fairly interesting, like, I would say, mishmash of different archetypes. Later on, there's gonna be Another archetype like this, as you guys have probably heard of this point, DDD. I think Melifos is kind of similar to DDD in play pattern, especially in the focus of using like pendulum cards and popping stuff and getting things into the extra deck and resummoning things. It's really cool. It's really fun deck. But yeah, all of the Melifos have the same effect, and they're just simply different scales from 1 to 8, and they have different attacks, different levels, and different stat lines. So we've covered like essentially 2 of the core things in the deck already. Now we have Fairytale Snow. Fairytale Snow is one of the most degenerate cards ever printed in Yu-Gi-Oh! It has the effect of, if this card is normal or spell summon, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls and change it to face-down defense position. Not very impressive, right? It is a level 4, just to point it out. And it has the effect of, if this card is in your graveyard, quick effect. You can banish 7 other cards from your hand, field, and or graveyard, and spell summon this card. So you can just get rid of 7 cards from your graveyard, hand, or field, and you can resummon this card for material, or you can use it for turning a card face down to prevent some combos from happening, or even beyond that, you can like use multiples of these. Like, Snow is not limited to once per turn. If Snow gets removed from the field, you can reuse Snow. So yeah, this card is kind of obnoxious, and I'm playing it specifically because it's a card that can summon itself fairly easily and has a very good effect when you summon it. And on top of that, it's a level 4, so it can go into rank 4s. Then we have Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. And both of these cards are in this set through... What was it again? No, Snow is in this set itself, and we get Snow Rabbit through Snow. Yeah. Heavy Freight Terrain Derricane. It's in here for Heavy Storm and nothing else. Magician's Robe. When you activate a spell or trap during your opponent's turn, except during the damage step, you can spell summon this card and banish it when it leaves the field. It's in here for Synchro Filler, essentially. Masterpiece, the True Draco Slayer, is a level 8 light dragon monster with 2,950 attack and defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be spell summoned from your hand by attributing a Draco Slayer and a Draco Overlord monster. You cannot spell summoned and cannot be spell summoned by any other ways. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. If this card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, by battle or card effect, you can dispel summon 1 Draco Slayer monster and 1 Draco Overlord monster from your deck. This card is not yet the one that is broken, but this card has the makings of being a fairly powerful boss monster in a deck that can search it out. Well, not even search it out, but a deck that can thin itself out and hit it when you have the required materials. It's fairly bricky to summon because it requires you bring a Draco Slayer and a Draco Overlord, but that's why you have stuff like Draco Face Off, and that's why you have other ways of like filtering cards out. But yeah. And then we have Scapegoat as a filler. I needed 1 card from the set, and I just decided Scapegoat is probably the best one because it gives me tokens, and I use tokens to pop this off using Melifos. Toon Dark Magician was another one that I like kind of just needed from the set, and also gave me access to Dark as a keyword. It's a level 7/2, so it can go into Big Eye using Wolflame. Mermilio is a Traptrix monster. It's related to the whole normal trap archetype, which means that we have access to it as long as we have access to stuff like trap holes. So yeah, then we have Lector Pendulum, the Draco Overlord. I'm not gonna even bother rating his effect. It's in here so that I can maybe go into Masterpiece for funny. Lector Pendulum, we already know what this card does. Pops the other scale, adds a card with the same name. Melifos Gold Driver, Silvered, Steelin, and Wolflame. We have a Cosmic Cyclone, pay 1,000 to target 1 spell and trap and banish it. 1 Dark Hole to pop cards on board. Dimension Fusion to pay 2,000 life points, and each player can spell summon as many of their banished monsters as possible. Banish 7 other cards from your hand, field, or graveyard. I think that speaks for itself, guys. I don't think I need to go into much detail on why I think this card deserves to be in here. And it's in here because we have Melifos Fusion. Draco Face-Off, reveal a Draco Slayer, Pendulum Monster, and Draco Overlord Pendulum Monster, and your opponent randomly picks one of them to place in your Pendulum Zone or Special Summon, and I get to choose it, and the other one gets added to my extra deck face-up. Heavy Storm, to pop any Pendulum cards. Instant Fusion, again in here because of Fusion, and we have access to Adamante, which can be fairly good. Melifos Fusion, Fusion spend 1 Melifos Fusion Monster from your extra deck, using materials from your hand or field as materials. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle it into the deck and then draw 1 card. That's really good. That's like an actually fairly good effect. Because you can use this for material, for like Summoner Monk, for discarding it. You can shuffle it back and you can draw a card. It's basically a free discard. Metamorphomation. All Metalphos monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense. While a Metalphos card is in your grip pendulum zone, Metalphos monsters you control, except effect monsters, are unaffected by opponent's card effects. So essentially, only Orichalc would be affected by monster effects. Pot of Desires, banish 10, face down, draw 2. I think you all know. I think you've all seen this card. Pot of Greed, I think you've already seen this card. Floodgate, when your opponent summons a monster, change that monster to face down defense position and monsters change to face down defense position by this effect cannot change their battle position. Metalphos Combination, once per turn, if a fusion monster is fusion summoned, that is relevant, honestly. I cannot really do that fairly feasibly. But yeah, once per turn, you can target one Metalphos monster in graveyard with a lower level than the fusion monster and spell summon it. The second effect is mostly where I'm going to be using this. If this card is sent from the field of the graveyard, you can add a Metalphos monster from your deck to your hand. And because, again, Metalphos pop pop face-up card, you can pop combination to add 2 cards, essentially. And also set another combination. Metalphos counter, if a card you control is destroyed by battle card effect, spell summon 1 Metalphos monster from your deck. During either player's turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard and add 1 face-up Metalphos monster from your extra deck to your hand. And then we get to the side deck. We have a Moonlight Dragon in case I feel like my Black Rose isn't good enough or Black Rose isn't doing what I want it to do and I don't want to pop my own field often. Cosmic Cyclone, Dark Hole, Dimension Fusion, basically more copies of each card. Then we have Super Polymerization in case I want to focus more on maybe getting rid of cards that I normally wouldn't be able to deal with because of stuff like, not Ultimate Falcon because Ultimate Falcon is too big, but let's say there's boss monsters that I need to fuse off for some reason because they have an effect that maybe prevents me from doing something else. I can use Super Poly for that in game 2. Bottomless, Floodgate, Traptic Strapple Nightmare. Again, we have Dinosaur Power, can summon a face-up, a Draco Slayer monster from your hand or graveyard. Can be summoned by using a Pendulum monster and a Draco Slayer monster for materials, but tributing them. Adamante is just a 2.5k beat stick, level 5. And then there is Crimsonite, which is a 3000 beat stick summoned with using 2 monsters with 3000 or less attack. And a Metalphos monster. And then there's Orichalc, who has the effect of, if a Metalphos monster you control attacks the defense position monster, inflict double piercing battle damage to your opponent. If this card is sent from the field of the graveyard, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Then we have Ancient Fairy Dragon, Black Rose, Ignister, Shark, Big Eye, Utopia. Then we have number 81, Super Dreadnought, Radial Cannon, Super Dora. Once per turn, it's a level 10, it's rank 10. You've seen this card. Don't pretend you haven't seen this card. Once per turn, quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 face-up monster of the field. That target is unaffected by card effects except its own until the end of this turn. Then we have Lightning, Rafflesia, and the cover card of the set, Nirvana, High Paladin. I am not going to read out what this card does, because I don't think it's really relevant for what it does. I am mainly playing it because I can. But yeah, that about does it. Metalphos are a deck that I really like. I've personally been excited to get a chance to actually play them in the series, so we'll see how this goes. Good luck with the games.
Ladies and lads, welcome back to History Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning Journey, episode 102, and Dark Illusion. And if I look terrible, then, I mean, that's as per any other day, but also the reason is that I have been cripplingly addicted to Monster Hunter Wilds. So, I'll be honest, if I get anything done today, in Yu-Gi-Oh, then that is impressive. I have not been thinking of anything except for Monster Hunter Wilds. I clocked in a very healthy 37.5 hours over the weekend in the 3 days. So I think I'm a healthy individual, and this might be the worst hand mankind has ever seen. I'm not gonna lie.
This looks so fucking perfect. I fucking love this. Oh my god.
All right. But yeah, I see you're playing 60 cards, I'm playing 56 cards, so
yeah,
we're playing some video games over here.
Bro, you have a card that says mill 10, draw 2.
And let's start with a nice little set 3 back row and pass it back to you.
Respect. Very, very respectable. I'm gonna start by setting and then I'm going to set 1 pass.
Fucking blind MST this thing.
This thing?
Yeah.
Banging.
Melfo's counter. And I mean, I might as well fucking fire off this shit too.
Bro was being cringe. So my original deck idea for this was playing all the Paleozoics, all the Trap Hulls, every single Trap Tricks card, and also combining that with Forceful Sentry to make sure that my good old opponent doesn't get to play the video game.
I mean, that sounds awesome. And
I decided against it.
yeah, I can assure you, I am not playing that shit. I already talked about how much I love hat format, and the trap trick stuff does not seem very intriguing to me personally. Anyways, let's blind MC again.
Oh, I see. It's a Melfos combination. When it gets sent from the field of the graveyard, I get to add to my hand a Melfos card from the deck. I would like to add to my hand a drum roll, please. Melfos Wall Flame.
Yeah, and I think this doesn't, because it's just the floating effect. It's not a trap card activation, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
It is not a trap card that is being activated. It is a trap card effect.
Yep. I mean,
very different.
I will simply once again lay out 3 back row, and I will throw it back to you.
Okay, I would like to go main phase 1, flip summon my snow. Would you like to do something to my snow?
Interesting. I think snow is all G.
I would like to normal summon Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit.
This make 4/7.
Black Rose.
I mean, I don't mind that. That's fine. Yep, that is okay.
Okay. Black Rose.
Floodgate triple.
That doesn't matter.
Is this?
Doesn't matter. It resolves.
Do I then? Actually, I guess that's still fine. Yep, that is all G.
Yeah.
Not activate.
The effect is on the stack.
It's great.
Yeah, and also even if you activate one of them, the Picaya that would come on the board.
They will. I'd rather not stuff get banished. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'd rather have all of this here so I can just fill my board. Basically, whenever a trap goes off. So.
I would like to set one. I would like to activate Gold Driver. I would like to activate Wolf Flame. I would like to use the effect of Wolf Flame. I would like to use the effect of Gold Driver to pop my Wolf Flame to set a Milvo spell trap from my deck directly. I will be setting a Melfos combination.
Yep.
And I would like to pass.
So combination and from the left. I love this. I mean, I kind of knew this was gonna happen because it's like, basically my deck doesn't really function game 1, but I am still a little sad, but this is fine. I will simply send back to you.
Standby, main. Activate the effect of Milfo's counter. Banish it from the graveyard to re-add to my hand the Wolf Flame. Wow, this menu is fucked when I do this. I would like to then...
I think that's fine. Nothing there?
I don't think these should... Yeah. But in this moment, I would like to activate Milfo's combination.
Yep.
To which you can then...
Fine. I have...
You can then chain your shit too.
Nothing to do with... I don't think... Because... Yep. That is fine by me.
Okay. Then I would like to use the effect of Gold Driver to pop my Melifos combination. Okay. To set a Melifos spell trap directly from my deck. I would like to set... This is kind of weird. Because, that works. This should work still. Yeah. I will set a Melfos formation. Pretty sure this should work still.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
was just
space
gonna say
down.
like you don't set it in your
Yeah.
spell trap zone, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah, but that's
it's
where it
fine.
goes.
It
Yeah.
obviously works.
And
Yeah.
then, because it just says set one Melfos spell trap. It doesn't say where to, so it should work. Also, when I destroy one, I activate Melfos counter, which again you can now before I activate Melfos formation, you can now chain to this as well.
I'm fine. Nothing to change.
Okay, I would like to special summon out from my deck a Melfos monster. And that monster shall be... Let me double check what I have in my extra. None of these are that great for me, I'm gonna be honest. Kinda sucks. Just summon out... Gold Driver, I guess? Yeah, Gold Driver.
Sure. Also, don't forget your ad from combination. You haven't done that yet.
Oh yeah. Thank you. My bad. I forgot. Next.
Oh, gee.
Big help. And then I would like to add... It's any Melfos card, right? Or...
I think it was
Double check.
monster, right? You can have one Metal Flows monster from your deck to your hand, yeah.
Okay.
Specifically monster. It is a can, so remember this chat room. I could have not told him and he would have missed one thing.
Thank you for telling me. I appreciate you being upfront and
Would you just say
honest
I'm
about this.
being magnanimous?
Magnanimous. That is the word. Yes. Okay, where is my third copy of this fucking thing? There it is. I would like to add to my hand a Gold Driver.
Sure.
Then I would like to activate Melfos Wolfflame. Target it, and then I would like to activate the effect of Melfos Wolfflame, destroying my Gold Driver.
Go for it.
Okay. And then I would like to set a Melfos combination.
Yep.
And then I would like to Pot of Desires.
Go for it.
Banish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To draw 2. Okay. And then I would like to Pendulum Summon. Before I Pendulum Summon, active Melfos formation.
Yep.
Now, Pendulum Summon my Gold Driver, my Toon Dark Magician.
Oh my god.
And then then let's see. Let's think. Do I want to add anything else to this? I don't think it's worth it. That doesn't do anything for me. That doesn't do anything for me. I don't think that's worth it. Then from my graveyard I can do some shit. But I don't think that's worth it, is it?
You can discard a toon toon card.
Yeah, I can do that. That is correct. That is a possibility for a play that I can make, yes.
I'm sure you're playing Toon Dark Magician out of your own volition and definitely wanting to play it because you have a crazy Toon engine in this deck.
See, it has dark in its name and it's a level 7.
Yeah,
which like I'm not even kidding. I went through all the cards and I was like, oh, how do I get like dark while it's actually still worthwhile for me? And I realized because this is a 7, it's still useful because it can be used to make number, I think it's 37, number 11, Big Eye.
Yes.
Which is very good, very powerful card, that one.
It is pretty good.
I think I have 2,200 for. I can't attack with this guy, so I need to get rid of him anyhow.
Yeah, DM can't attack because Toon cards are good.
Yeah, they are. They're very, very good. I assure you. Well, I would like to banish from my graveyard a couple of cards for the special summoning of Fairy Tale Snow. I would like to banish Ghost Ogre, Melfos combination, Black Rose Dragon, Melfos combination, Melfos counter, and Pot of Desires. And I would like to also banish from my hand a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit to special summon out Snow.
That is correct.
Then I would like to overlay Fairy Tale Snow and Gold Driver for a
This doesn't work. It's not battling, but this should be the best one. To make a Utopia the Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to activate Dimension Fusion.
Go for it.
By paying 2,000 life points, I would like to special summon as many monsters from my banished zone as possible. I will special summon Black Rose and Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Then
That
I
is
would
fine.
like to overlay Toon Dark Magician and Black Rose Dragon to make a Big Eye.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to. That's not gonna be more. Don't think that's a relevant amount.
Make a Black Rose.
I'll summon Ghost Ogre in defense.
That's
Just to
fine.
be safe. And then go into combat.
Yep.
Attack using Gold Driver. 2.2.
19.
In fact, also.
Oh yeah,
will-
actually 300 extra from the.
Yeah.
Field spawn.
Well, Melifaux's card is in your Pendulum. Melifaux's monster you control. Except effect monsters are unaffected by opponent's card effects. Okay. And then Lightning.
Yep. 25 hundo.
And then Big Eye.
That is also fine.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping I could actually end it there, but well, I didn't. I couldn't manage to get enough damage on board because I was missing a single. Yeah.
I don't draw anything, but now we're gonna take a long intermission so I can side out of all the stuff that was here just to meet the quota. So we'll be
That
back in a
is
little bit. Okay, and after I think literally 15 cards changing, actually I think 14. I think we are good on that. So let's see if we can actually do something else than just set cards the entire way through, because that would be pretty neat. And honestly, yeah, fuck it. We'll just immediately pot.
Hell yeah.
Is
Banish
this okay?
them. Banish them first.
Banish 10 face down cards.
Now we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
I will draw 2. It's pretty good. I don't know why I didn't do this first, but let's fire off Forceful Sentry. Interesting. A lot of annoying stuff.
I don't think most of these cards are relevant.
Gofa doesn't do anything now. Dimension View doesn't really do it. Dark Hole or Super Poly, but I don't know what you get off Super Poly. We'll send Dark Hole back.
Mm-hmm.
Now do I trust that you send Dark Hole back? Thank you.
I don't know why it shuffles my hand instead of just keeping it as is. I mean, I guess you can make the argument, well, that way I won't know the exact positions of the cards in your hand, but it's like, you know, the exact cards that I have in my hand. Like you shuffle before you activate another effect, like what the fuck?
Anyways, let's fire off a Black Whirlwind. A normal Shura, the Blue Flame, and fire off Black Whirlwind. We'll go grab something a little bit less than 1800. And I think is there a reason for me to yeah, we'll just go for a good old faithful Gale.
I can love Gale.
Special summon said Gale. And we will simply make a honestly, good old friend Armor Master. Do I make him an attack? I don't think. I want to say it doesn't matter in this set. Then we'll set a couple of cards and bounce it back.
This is unfortunate. I would like to special summon Gofu the Wake Shadow and activate its effect.
You're free to do that.
Summon 2 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would like to activate Milifos Wolflim to my Pendulum Zone and then pop one of the tokens.
Yep.
Set from my deck a Milifos spell or trap. I would like to set a Milifos counter.
You can just destroy battle or cut a face plus one once from your deck to end the place.
And
okay.
When it's into the graveyard, I can banish it to add a Milifos Pendulum card from my extra command.
Yep.
Yep. And then that's annoying. Yep, that's all she wrote.
Seems pretty good.
Oh, actually, I'll set one and then.
Sure. I think Endphase will still pop the counter.
Mm-hmm.
And the draw. Well, not exactly what I want to see, but I guess sure. I'll just punch over, I guess, Gofu. Or attempt at least. Main 2. Set another card, and that is going to be all she wrote.
Alrighty. Stand by, mate. Desires?
Yep, that's fine.
Them. There you go. Just double checking. Yep. Draw 2.
Mm-hmm. Imagine if Dimension Fusion went from face down.
Dude, that would be insane.
I mean, yeah, because the card isn't broken already.
I mean, Dimension Fusion, if it counted from face down, would only count for the player that uses it too, because it's the other cards that are being summoned from your opponent's face down don't exist for you. The cards that you have face down, you know what they are, but your opponent wouldn't have them, essentially.
Are there any other cards that interact with face down stuff, like adding it back, than Necroface? Because I think it's literally the only one. Because I think everything otherwise, like it's like target specific stuff that just says like, hey, just shuffle all face down, shuffle all banished cards back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, like it's.
But probably for the best.
Yeah, 100%.
Is there?
I would like to.
Are face down cards like? Are you allowed to look what they are? Because you said like.
Yeah, yours are. Yeah, you're allowed to look at yours, but I'm not allowed to look at yours.
Oh.
Which is, by the way,
I honestly thought like, you can't know any of them, but that's interesting. Cool.
Like I think that's the worst rule in the game.
It is kind of strange.
Because it doesn't make sense. Because like you could go, well, you can look at like it's a open zone, right? But it's an open zone and it's a face down card in an open zone. So it's like, well, it obeys the same rules as a set card, right? But unlike with cards on the field and cards in the graveyard, no, not cards in the field, the cards in the banish should just be open information regardless of the state that they're in. Because both players are allowed to look at them. Both the players are allowed to just touch the cards in those zones and be like, can I look at what that is? But for some reason, they decided that's not how that should be. And that, don't like that. Hate that, actually. Anyhow, Milifos Wolflame, pop the token, set a card. That is fine.
Yep.
Set a... Set a Milifos combination. And then I would like to Dark Hole.
Yep, that is all G.
Well, and then I would like to normal summon Fairy Tail Snow
Yep.
and go to battle and swing with Snow.
I will take 1850.
Alrighty then go main phase 2 and pass.
Well, that's a pretty good rip. Normal, sure. Actually,
Yep.
honestly, I think it might seem weird. I'll Dark Hole and then I'll normal, sure.
Yeah, I legitimately think that that's what you should do.
Because
I don't have resources right now, and you can even see that.
I mean,
yeah.
you can get her back, but I don't know if that'll be worth it. And
Yeah.
you know,
Let me double check, actually.
activate Black Whirlwind.
Yep.
I will add back to my hand. Actually, sure. But we'll add back to my hand. Not back to my hand, but I will simply add to my hand Bore the Spear. Special Bore the Spear?
Yep.
Okay, no nukes, which is honestly kind of what I...
There's no torrential
expected
tribute in
to.
here.
I mean, you never know. And attempt to swing for 35 total.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no double dark super poly targets at least. Unless you were crazy and set the Dimension Fusion as bait. And main 2, I guess, might as well. Let's overlay these two for Utopia and the Lightning.
Oh, that's an unexpected choice.
They're
I
not
would've
that
expected
big,
Rafflesia, honestly.
and so you know, I'd rather not to summon something to swing over them. So we'll go for this.
Alrighty then, chat room. Then I would like to activate Melifaux's combination.
That activation is all G.
I would like to activate the effect of Wolflame to pop my Melifaux's combination.
Go for it.
And I would like to set a spell or trap. And I would like to set...
Good old Forceful Sentry. I'm just making notes throughout the whole fucking thing. Yep.
Metamorphormation.
That is okay.
Okay. Then activate the effect of Melifaux's combination to add a Melifaux's monster from my deck to my hand.
Yep.
I would like to add a... I would like to add... I would like to add Stealing.
Stealing. That is okay.
And I would like to activate a Melifaux's Silvered. Then... normal summon. Stealing.
That is okay.
Super Polymerization.
Go for it.
Discarding Masterpiece to fuse off your Utopia.
Yep.
And my Stealing for a Adamantine.
That is all G. And
also, I would like to activate this.
When Adamantine is summoned, I will trap hole.
Just to be clear, I would like to activate Metamorphormation before I
you did
fusion
it before? Summon. Okay, well.
Sorry.
Damn, dude is fishing out information.
Bro.
That is fine, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I paused for a moment, because I realized, oh fuck, I didn't say this. But yeah. And then I would like to banish for 4/4/4 Snow. Banish Super Polymerization. Banish Masterpiece. Banish Middle Force Combination. Dark Hole. Desires. Gofu. And counter.
And then
Summon out.
Dimension
Summon Snow.
Fusion doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't kill me because Masterpiece can't be summoned with it.
Yeah, we cannot get Masterpiece here. And then I would like to activate Dimension Fusion, minus 2000. Special summon out Gofu, and can't get anything else.
Yep.
And Gofu cannot use its effect here. Then I would like to Pendulum Summon, Stealing.
Yep.
And then I would like to go into combat. Perchance.
Perchance. I love that word.
Perchance. Mayhaps.
At least finally my notes are cleared.
Hell yeah.
We love Forceful Sense.
It took a while. Then I would like to attack. Go in combat, attack with Snow, attack with Adamante for 2.8. So it's 4.650, I think. Yeah. Then main phase 2. Synchro Summon. Declaring the Synchro Summon for Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. In attack position.
And I guess now we can drop Hulk as not a metal foes.
On your opponent's
Monster.
Yes. And then end my turn.
All right.
yeah.
Well, there are a couple things that do it, but that does not. So that'll be it. Would you like to see the reason why I fucking hate Pot of Desires?
Yeah, go for it.
Kind of like some stuff here, like, okay, you know, kind of whatever. The 2 other copies of Black Whirlwind, though, and the 2 other copies of Gale the Whirlwind, though. Yep. 56
Were you
cards in my
playing-
deck. Banish 10, and 2 out of the 3 Gales, the only one that I already added to my hand, banished. Same thing with Black Whirlwind. Lovely.
That is unfortunate.
But yeah, like, the deck was basically, there was nothing really interesting in the set for me, so it was literally just like, I guess I'll play Blackwing, but I need to meet the quota because there is nothing for Blackwing here except for Gofu and 1 dogshit card. So it then ended up being like, all right, put all the Paleozoic garbage in, and we're basically forfeiting game 1 and then hoping I draw into something game 2. But obviously that many cards and Desires hitting so poorly meant that I was shit out of luck, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't have much to say about the set because, you know, like I said, like, there was nothing interesting for me personally here, so I just wanted to play a Blackwing again. But you get to play one of your pet decks, so anything you have?
So Melphos is one of those decks that I built during this era because I was like, this is a toolbox deck that gets access to a billion different things that has a lot of resilience overall. Like, Melphos counter isn't that great of a card, right? It's not like too impressive. It's a special summon 1 when it's a 2 for 1 essentially. It's not good, except for the part where when you use it for your own stuff, it's actually like on your own effects. It's actually really good because you pop a Melphos combination. You now add to your hand, set a spell trap, add a card, and special summon a card. You lose 2 cards, but you gain 3. So you're +1 for that. And on top of that, the cards that you actually get out of this, especially later on, like especially in the next set, I think it's Electrum, the fusion that says you can shuffle 2 Melphos cards from your graveyard back to your deck and bounce a card, I think, is really good for the era. And then there's also Alcahest, which is essentially I would say they're not. Well, it's a boss monster. It's a disruption tool which allows you to yoink your opponent's monsters and equip it to itself and gain attack based off of their attack and defense, if I remember correctly. And it's in conjunction with Full Metal Foes Fusion, it can be kind of good. But I never found the fusion playstyle of this deck to be as engaging as other fusion decks that are in the game. So I mostly just always pivoted to playing it as a Synchro XYZ toolbox. So, for example, Big Eye, Draco Sack, all this kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
And on top of the fact that like the tokens that you get with Draco Sack can also be used for things. And this was the deck where like Gofu was really popping off. Like this was the very first deck that I can think of where people were like, Gofu's broken.
Yeah, 'cause
Gofu is
there's-
such a good
All
card.
your stuff just cares about your face-up stuff getting popped. It doesn't specifically have to pop Metalfoe stuff.
Yeah, and even on top of that, you have cards like Steelin and Silvered and the level 1, the normal summon, that are all like synchro material fodder for it. So you can easily go into 6s, you can easily go into 7s, 8s, and even 9s. Like this deck is really strong because of Gofu. And then on top of that, later on, you get like when you start actually not even later on. At this moment, you would be playing like reasoning with this deck, and your opponent calls a 4. Well, it doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna mill a bunch of cards. You're gonna special summon something. Doesn't really matter. But the main point being that you also get access to Snow, which is insane, and later Grass. And when you have Grass, Metalfoes with reasoning and Snow, it's disgusting. It's filthy.
Yes.
And on top of that, it's a pendulum deck. So you can play anything you want in it, and it just functions. Like, there's this one card in here, Magician's Robe, for example, which is like a very specific kind of... Well, I'm going to be playing a lot of traps. I'm going to be activating cards during my opponent's turn. I'm going to be activating combination. I'm going to be activating puzzle polymerization, so on and so forth. So I can easily recur this card, and it's a good target for, like, Synchro Fodder. I can make a 7 with it. I can use it as a stepping tool for, like, a level 11, like Star Eater, which I did run in the deck originally way back when. And then, of course, you would be playing cards like Recover with this, which is a tuner that summons itself from the graveyard. Like a lot of tuners that summon themselves to the graveyard are really good for this deck alongside Yofu. Like a lot of your synchro plays are obviously going to always end up on, can you summon Gofu and can you make something with that? But if you don't have Gofu, you need to have access to something that you can maybe draw into, mill into, a Foolish Pearl into, Mathematician into, and so on and so forth. And I think that's what makes this really interesting as a deck, because it's a very versatile toolboxy deck that doesn't have to solely rely on its archetypal cards, but when it does rely on them, the archetypal cards are also fairly powerful and fairly interesting.
I see. One thing that I definitely have missed, that I'm pretty sad that I missed, was the storm portion of Sahaya's name. I did, like, Heavy Storm was one thing that I missed, which I guess like that would have then ended up with me like playing probably 60 cards. But yeah, go for it.
Right before we started this, I was saying maybe we should start this before I say something I shouldn't. And that was, you do know there's Heavy in the set, right?
Derek K was also there, so there were two different ways to actually get Heavy Storm, but
yeah,
I
couldn't
don't
sacrifice.
Think it would have mattered, but whatever.
I mean, in game 1, if you top decked Heavy Storm, I don't know if it would have really mattered, but you would have at least disrupted me to a point where it would have taken a bit longer.
Yeah, but I mean,
Like,
taking a
definitely.
bit longer would have meant that it would have taken longer for me to go back into Monster Hunter Wilds. So if you think about
Fair.
it that way, then it's good that
Fair,
I did
yeah,
run
yeah.
it. Oh, what
Yeah,
was, by the way,
that is
your
true.
like reasoning for going for Toon Dark Magician over like Magician of Dark Illusion? Because I felt like that was an easier body to get on board.
So, Magician of Dark Illusion, I originally was thinking of putting in, but then I also reasoned to myself that if I want to, I can play Toon Dark Magician for the sake of having Toon Table of Contents for thinking in my deck out and having access to maybe a second copy of Toon Dark Magician. But then I reread Toon Dark Magician and realized Toon Dark Magician cannot summon itself, and I was bummed, and then I just didn't bother replacing it because I had been spending like 2 to 3 hours theory crafting on how this deck would function with all the junk stuff that I would have to put in.
I guess that's fair.
So,
Though I also
Yeah.
think like the past couple episodes have been, especially with your decks, bro. I was kind of chuckling to myself when I was watching when editing the deck breakdowns for the last one, like 101, when it was like, yeah, this one gives me this one gives me this. I think I even added a note or something there like something along the lines of like, bro, this rule might be the greatest thing we've ever added. You're definitely way more perceptive with that than I am. I'll give you that. I often overlook stuff, but it's fun, and I guess that's what also makes it kind of fun.
Yeah, I definitely have had a lot of fun doing things like, for example, when we were doing the like Dark Side Dimensions set, and I saw a cubic wave, I was afraid. Immediately I went to ask you without even thinking about like talking about it to chat because I didn't mention it. I was just like, I saw cubic wave, I paused everything that I was doing on stream, went to Discord, typed is cold wave out of the set? Can we just ban this?
Yeah, I mean, and meanwhile, there's me in my wholesome blue eyes deck. I never even considered that card. Maybe you're evil and you think of these evil cards, and I just have like this filter that automatically puts all the evil away.
Yeah. So anyway, these forceful sentries, right?
Yep.
If you look at my deck real quick, you might see something very interesting in it. You might see that
I see
to be
like
unnecessary.
Pot of Greeds here. Floodgate Trap Holes. I see Ghost. Oh yeah, what was? Oh yeah, Fairy Tales. No, that's it. I was like, that's another thing that I was thinking like, what gave Ghost Ogre? But I can't wait for us to get to Maximum Crisis, so I don't need to think about that, and I can just always be like,
who's just playing Dragon?
Just give me the 200 hand traps, and we'll go about our days.
Yeah. So like the big reason why I was running Snow originally was the fact that Ghost Ogre could be got from that. And then after I spent like a moment longer thinking about my own deck, I realized fucking Melifaux's Fusion. Damn, I'm gonna play Dimension Fusion with Fairy Tale Snow, and it immediately makes this deck infinitely more broken. And
Dimension
as we
Fusion
probably
making
saw,
something broken? No, that can't be right.
But yeah, as we probably saw in this episode, this is a little filthy, and I cannot wait for the moment when in the future we no longer get cards that say Fusion on them, which is not gonna be for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Dimension Fusion is one of those cards where it's like, because Fusion is
too common.
It's a decently plentiful thing that you see a lot. So that's something to maybe consider being on the chopping block. But like, I think it's one of those things that is like a soul charge with more hoops to go around is still. So I think for now, like, it's still fine. If at some point it starts popping up every other episode, then maybe we consider at that point maybe axing it. But for now, I think it's perfectly fine.
If we find ways to play Snow in every set that we can have access to Dimension Fusion, it's definitely something that should immediately be shot. Because the thing that really enables it is like
very common.
Yeah, luckily.
Fairy is a little more, but nothing crazy there. And like the likelihood of one of those popping up in the same one as Fusion, obviously not the craziest, but it might happen. But like that's the thing. Like if it happens a couple of times, then I think at that point like it's fine. If it was dimensional Fusion, I feel like it would be like easier also, because like I think dimensional is much less frequent, but dimension shows up every now and then. But I think for now, like it's still fine.
Yeah, I think overall dimension it's a super rare word in a way, but like dimensional, as you mentioned, is far more common. But then there's the problem of stuff like different dimension reincarnation, which is also, I think, in only a few sets. There's no retrain of it yet, so that might not be an issue either. Who knows? We'll see. Actually,
we'll worry about it when we get there. But yeah, nothing. I think that's pretty much.
Oh yeah.
It. Oh.
Before we go anywhere, so I was playing Masterpiece here, right?
Yep.
And I think it's probably obvious that I was playing Masterpiece to gain access to Luster Pendulum, because Luster Pendulum is the best pendulum monster that you could possibly have in a deck like this. Because the play pattern of this deck is to essentially pop your own scales to get materials on the board.
It's a complementary fucking Melifaux's card.
Essentially, yeah, it works the same way, except for the part where it adds a monster, so it's better than a Melifaux's card. So it leads to a situation where if you happen to somehow be in that situation, you can pop you can use multiple luster pendulums in a turn, for example, if you're lucky enough, and you can also use it for obviously Ignister, and Ignister happens to be a really good fucking card. If the last time that we played with this fucking shit was any kind of indicator, but then I also decided to put in an actual like way of playing it because I thought, well, Masterpiece is a scary card regardless of what deck I would be playing against in this. And I'm gonna have the ability to go through my deck fairly quickly. I'm gonna have the ability to go through a lot of Melifos, draw a bunch of cards, and then also maybe end up actually drawing into. I don't think I have it in here anymore. I had Draco face off at 2 in the first game, but I did not check if I banished them with Desires, for example. But I felt like it could be worth trying to play that because Masterpiece at this point is still a fair card. This is still a fair card. Now we'll see how that changes in the future.
Yeah, the
man.
I think like on Luster Pendulum, like I'm surprised if it's ever. I don't know, but if it's never spent any time on like any of the band lists, like limited list or anything like that, like I'm kind of surprised because I'll be honest, I have never in my life seen a pendulum deck or a pendulum list with at least not a couple Luster Pendulum in there. I just feel like it's just the most generic card for any summoning type you could have, and polymerization is a thing that exists.
Yeah. So it hit the ban list for limited. It got limited in 2016. It got off the list in 2017.
Okay.
But it basically for the peak of the Pendulum era, it was on the list.
Gotcha.
Now in the OCG, it hit the list in 2016, and it got off of it half a year ago. That's almost a decade on the list.
Yeah, they have maxi legal, so I don't think we need to consider anything there. Also, I'm now noticing. Wait, I have red. Okay, I was gonna say like if you look. Okay, this is such a weird tangent. If you look at, because you know how your board, it's 5 monster zones, 5 spell trap zones, and they like form these 4-way grids, and in the middle of them they have these sort of like star-like shapes. Does the second from the left to you look exactly like a
Primogem?
Primogem? Yeah, that's it. I was looking for the word.
I think it's Primogem, not Primo.
Oh yeah, actually that sounds right. But yeah, does it look like that to you?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And it's all thanks to this.
Yeah. There goes the Genshin Impact audience.
Oh yeah. Pop off! Rio's coming back, fellas!
Also,
stay winning.
It's a full cryo character banner. That's crazy.
Cannot believe it. Oh yeah, I was playing this too. I saw a line for this and I thought it would be cool.
That's neat.
Yeah, like I legitimately never considered the option of playing this until I was like, wait, there's actually a couple of ways I can get into this. Like getting a synchro monster out was very unlikely, especially for like getting into getting another card that would then allow me to summon it. But Fairy gives me a level 7 that allows me to just extend right there and then.
Yes, sir.
And then I also, of course, have Moonlight, which is also really good and doesn't kill itself.
Yep.
So, like this card, because I was really struggling for a while trying to figure out how do I get a card that has black in its name, and I don't even remember what card it was right now. But there was a card that allowed me to go into it, and I was so relieved.
I mean,
because I can actually.
I wonder because I'm thinking because the only ones that I'm thinking, because obviously I got Black
Dragon Ninja.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I set it out of it for game 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, I don't remember what all my sites were, but it was basically just like all the Paleo cards as well as a Magician of Dark Illusion for just a bunch of like the different like Trap Hole cards, a single copy of Dark Hole, a second copy of Dark Grand Dragon, and then 3 of my side slots were Armor Master, and the second copy of Utopia and second copy of Lightning, which I just cited those 3 in for the 3 like Paleozoic XZs that I was playing in game 1, because obviously I had like 2 Paleo cards left now. Yeah, I had 2 Canadia. I was thinking between these and the Spell Trap Pops, but like 3 MSD, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, I figured like I have plenty enough Spell Trap removal if I need it.
I also think the spell trap removal itself isn't as powerful as being able to disrupt my plays. So, like, sure, you can make the argument the spell trap removal can destroy my Pendulum Zone cards, which is really powerful. But at the same time, like, setting my card face down immediately when I summon it, if I'm not going for a non-inherent form of summoning, it's just gonna be ass. I
Yep.
can't go into synchros. I can't do anything. So.
That is right. Sorry that I keep yawning like I've been not getting enough sleep, but that's perfectly fine because there are monsters to be hunted. But
Monsters to be hunted.
pretty solid episode all around with Dark Illusion, and yeah, I guess I can real briefly check what we have for next time. We have
Question?
Dragons of Legend Unleashed for next time.
So-
No complimentary set with that.
You know how we've been talking about that one XYZ monster that is gonna be a fucking menace because of the way that you're supposed to play it, right? Crooked Cook?
Which one?
Crooked Cook.
Oh,
The-
yeah,
when your board is empty, it's
Yeah.
unaffected by card effects. Yeah. So that card comes out in 2 weeks. I was like tearing my hair out trying to figure out a kind of boss monster to play in this deck. And when I went to check that, I was so mad because I could have just played fucking Crooked Cook, but it's not out for 2 more weeks.
Are you trying to
Uh,
play with that like in this one or in the Dragons of
Yeah,
Legend?
this one,
Oh
this
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. I see.
Like the time, like the gap is literally like 14 days.
I see. That's pretty fun.
Which is insane. Think about releasing this like 2 big sets back to back like that. What the fuck?
I mean,
Konami, what the hell?
I don't remember if there's anything really in Dragons of Legend Unleashed, but I guess we're gonna find out. But yeah, any closing words? I'll be honest, I'm getting pretty hungry. I have only drank a protein shake apart from my breakfast today, and it's closing in on 7:30 p.m. So, and I want to make a casserole today, so that's gonna take me like almost an hour, all cooking included. So I'll get to that right after. But any closing statements for this one?
I'm really sad that Metal Foes were kind of gutted after the Master Rule change, and I really wish that the support cards that they got weren't some of the most broken things that we've ever seen, so that they
Smart.
themselves would stay unplayable. And they would never receive more support beyond that, because the support cards that they did get were so powerful that they were deemed to be too good.
I love how every
Oh, there's 2 actually.
every
Oh, wait,
summoning
offline.
mechanic got their own support link too, with my favorite generic Pendulum support card, Heavy Metal Foes Electromite, which is obviously just a part of an archetype, but it's so good
Man.
that it just gets played in every single Pendulum deck. And actually, all right, we'll end on that.
Potion.
Let's play a fun little game. Post it in the comments. When is Electromite coming off the ban list?
Never.
Specifically the TCG.
Unless it gets errata, never. And I don't want it to get errata. Just
I'll
print a new
say
one.
2030, April 17th. Table, post a ban list update, and Electromite will come to 1.
So, just in case you weren't aware, it's at 1 in the OCG.
Yeah, OCG, yep.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
And that's why it's gonna come out to 1 in the TCG, April 17th, 2030. Bro, if
at 1 for
okay, but imagine
7
though.
years.
Imagine if it comes out to 1 on April 17th of 2030. This clip
That
will
would
be
be insane.
generational.
Holy, flip that right now. Make a note of it.
Yeah, I'm making note of it. No, that would be
The historian.
the only thing, like, only time and the history will then know that I call that shit.
One day there will be historians learning about the historical Yu-Gi-Oh learning journey.
I hope that those historians find something better to do, because, bro, they boot up this episode, they see my deck breakdown, they're like, brother, I ain't studying this shit. What is this garbage?
Then they go to the next one and they're like, wow, this is peak. Wow, this is amazing. Who could have possibly fucking have thought to put in some of the most broken cards in the game together? Wow, such fucking cookmanship, chefmanship. Wow.
Anyways,
Amazing.
before any Master Chef shenanigans, we'll be back next week with Dragons of Legend Unleashed, so look forward to that. Thank you so very much for watching this one. Let me know what you think of the news breakdown format, and I think that's everything. I don't know why I said and. That was everything I wanted to say. I'm gonna go cook up some food, and Jeexx is gonna go do something and then raid, probably. That is what it does. But yeah, by the time you're seeing this video, I am probably Hunter rank 100, at least in Wild, so I'm gonna go make myself some food and hit HR 40 in one quest. So I'll see you, gamers. I'll see you. Yeah, why were you just not including you at this point? We'll see you next week. So thank you for watching. Sorry for the shenanigans. Like I said, sleep deprivation, it happens. But happy hunting, hunters. We'll see you next week. Peace.